This is Darren Corbin, and you are listening to the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast Network.
Welcome to the Legends Weekly Wrap-Up, hosted by Nathan Legend.
Tapped Out Nation, what is going on? Welcome to the Legends Weekly Wrap-Up. I have with me some very special guests near and dear to my heart. I have with me Richard and Shannon from the Married to Marks podcast. Richard and Shannon, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you.
How'd your guys' weekend go?
Exhausting.
So much wrestling.
Tell us about the wrestling you watched.
Well, we decided to try and catch up on everything that had been up to date on the G1 Climax tournament before Battleground.
Okay, so the G1 Climax, I'm not familiar with that. What promotion is that?
That is New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Oh, of course.
That is their 19-day round-robin tournament.
Nice. Who ended up... Is it over with, or is it still going on?
Oh, no.
It'll be running for a while yet still.
Through mid-August.
Wow. Nice. I went to the Poorhouse for a primetime wrestling event, and I got to see Airwolf. I got to see Billy Blaze, and I booed him quite a bit. And he told me to go home and go to bed. And I got to say, as far as... villains giving advice. That was some sound advice. So I probably should have, given the state I was in. And I also got to see Darren Corbin, one of my favorites. And
we love him. He's so fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a great interview with him on the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast Network, too. So if you can check that out. Let's get into the weekend that was and the week that was, so to speak, in the WWE. We had, you mentioned it already, Battleground. Let's give that a go. So what were your overall impressions of this pay-per-view?
You want to go first, dear? Because...
I thought my silence was speaking enough words. The pre-show match was really, really good.
Yeah.
And surprising. Really surprising. Did not expect that to go the way that it did. A little swervy, but I like it. It's good.
The first match was actually really good. The Usos and the New Day were a fantastic match.
Before you go on, that pre-show match, that was Aiden English and Ty Dillinger, correct?
Yes, it was.
And Aiden got the win. And I thought this may have been one of the best matches on the card. And I don't think that's a sad thing to say because Aiden and Ty are both very good. But the fact that it came before the actual show, I think, is very telling about the night overall, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Very fair. I mean, I don't understand why either of these gentlemen are being pushed. They're not even mid-card. They're like upper-low card.
Well, and especially Ty. Especially Ty. Ty is one of the most diligent workers. See what I did there? He's just a super diligent worker. He's been at it a long time. He's very solid. It sucks because like when he got his NXT call up, I was elated for him, and then at the same moment I was like, "Yay! This is gonna suck," and I haven't been wrong. So, do
you think that he was called up too early, or do you think that he took too many losses on the way out of NXT, or a combination? Like, what's been going wrong? The booking is suspect, of course, but do you think they're holding off to have him feud with, Kevin Owens or whoever it may be, or like, what do you think went wrong along the way?
Well, in my personal opinion, he had built an already to go storyline before his call up with The Miz. Twitter, and they did nothing with it.
Yeah.
Because we have to have the Miz feud with the same effing guy for the next, 3 years.
Well, Dean Ambrose and The Miz have been going at it now for almost a year.
Yeah.
Yep. Bored.
Well, do you think so? You mentioned the Ty and The Miz on Twitter, and Twitter, as strange as it may sound, is a way for them to kind of develop angles, especially with the fact that they got rid of talking goddamn smack, which was a great way to kind of refresh and hey, we can't fit things on SmackDown, let's throw them on Talking Smack. Perfect.
Right.
Twitter's kind of all they have at this point, and I agree. Everybody saw the Ty Dillinger Miz showdown on Twitter, and you mean in the show, in the dark match that no one saw? Ooh.
Yeah.
That was good stuff, and you're right, they took that and did nothing with it.
Well,
why?
Social media in general is so great. I mean, look what Zack Ryder did for himself.
Yep.
Using social media. He organically got himself over, and they did nothing with him.
Yep.
They, buried him immediately. And, but I look at things like, not WWE, but, the Young Bucks with being the elite on YouTube. They are actually perpetuating stories on their homemade YouTube show that Ring of Honor is actually carrying out. How can they... I mean, social media is so important, and the WWE, as much as they push social media, don't do anything with it.
No, and part of the problem is I think the talking heads, or, one specific one, who I'm sure we all know who I'm talking about, doesn't get it. I don't know if it's a generational gap thing or what, but their
Renee
lack
Young,
of
right?
Everything is Nene's fault.
Yeah.
No, it's just I think they're afraid to give. Creative is afraid to give the WWE wrestlers their own say. They're afraid to let them take the reins. And I'm not saying that they should have 100% control over the way that they're booked or the way that they're perceived, but I think that they should have some say instead of just being told, nope, sorry, because it's clearly it's working really well for other promotions.
Yeah. I would say the best match of the night, the New Day beating the Usos, but people are kind of salty about the New Day taking the straps from them. They think it's they're killing their moment, the usual things that we all like to bitch about. But what'd you think about this tag match? I thought it was, as you said, match of the night.
I thought the match was straight freaking fire. It was so good. I've said it before. I'll say it 100 times. Woods is a beast. Dude is so good. He's every single time they give him ring time, he just blows me away. I had no problems with it. I have issues with the tag team picture as a whole right now because I feel like they're just getting rid of tag team after tag team. So I don't know that New Day was a good choice, but I'm okay with it. I love the New Day. I'm a big fan, so I'm cool with it.
I'm getting text from my producer being a dick right now. The tag team picture, it is kind of tag teams haven't dropped like flags, but we can always count on Tyler Breeze and Fandango, of course, because at Battleground we had the fashion, we had the continuation of the Fashion X-Files, and then they got basically murked by someone off stage and dragged away.
Mark my words. I know who it's going to be. It's going to be Owen. It's going to be Harper and Owens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be
Luke Harper and Eric Rowan.
Eric Rowan, not Owens. Rowan. Eric Rowan and Luke Harper. They're going to put them back together because they're not doing anything with them, and they've been off TV now for how long?
Yeah, you're right. It's been a while. That'd be a good matchup. I mean, they're both. I mean, Luke and Eric are both kind of the bigger, more brawler types, and then you have Fandango and Ty Breeze, kind of a little more technical. I like that.
My only problem is they're going to reintroduce them as a comedy spot.
Breezango?
No, Rowan Harper. I mean, because obviously Breezango is a comedy team. I get it. I love comedy wrestling. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
but you don't put a serious tag team reintroduce a serious tag team against a comedy spot.
Especially if they're going to be the heels too. I think that's kind of a bad look.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Then they're just trying to out roast each other, and it's like, eh.
There's only 4 tag teams right now on SmackDown, assuming that the Colognes are actually getting their release like they requested.
Yeah, the Colognes started as a heel team. They didn't. I think they got like 1 or 2 wins on TV, and then they just jobbed them out. It's like, okay, if you're going to make some evil tag team brothers, we want to kind of see them. If they're not going to get wins, you want to see them at least beat people up backstage or something along those lines. And they didn't really get much of that.
Nope.
No, it was. They made all sorts of poor choices with them, which sucks because like the whole their whole gimmick when they kind of got rebranded, I thought was actually kind of clever. I mean, it was stupid, but it was clever. It was fun, like their whole travel brochure thing, like trying to sell bad timeshares. It was cute. It was entertaining.
Yeah.
But
let's move on to the Fatal 5-Way, and we'll talk about the women's division on SmackDown. Now, this match, I was kind of lukewarm on it, kind of went up and down. What were your thoughts on this Fatal 5-Way elimination match for not the championship, the number 1 contendership to take on the champion, Naomi, at SummerSlam?
Shannon?
Go ahead.
I thought it was actually a really good match. I feel like they did a really good job with it. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more time. It's so hard for me. I'm trying to watch my language because if you listen to our podcast,
no. Say whatever you got. Say whatever you got.
Sweet. It's really hard for me to filter. I would have liked to have seen them get a little bit more time. I think they had about 18 minutes total. And if you count introductions, that took about 5 minutes off. I'm really surprised and relieved that they didn't go the Lana route. Because F her.
F Lana. Okay, we'll come back to that. Keep going. Keep going.
Like bye girl, bye. I don't know. I thought it was really, it was a good, strong match. I'm not upset with the finish either. I think this is probably going to be Natty's last round with the belt. They're going to let her do her farewell tour, let her look strong for a while, give her her little hurrah, and call it a day. And they're going to keep Charlotte and Becky with the whole friendship thing for a while, which I'm fine with. I'm kind of done with heel Charlotte for a while.
Sure.
And we need more faces. I feel like we have very few straight faces in the women's division as it is right now. So I don't know. I kind of like the diversity of that aspect. Richard, your thoughts?
I enjoyed the match except for the middle part, but this is my problem with all Fatal 5-Way, Fatal 4-Way elimination matches. It's match, elimination, rapid fire, all the time, every time they do this kind of match. I hate that.
Yep.
I mean, we got 3 eliminations in a minute.
Yeah. Yeah, whenever the payoff happens, they always like to that's when they all blow their load, so to speak, with finish. And we've seen that a lot, and I don't have an issue with Natty winning either. I like Natty. I think she's probably an underrated. Well, I think she's an underrated worker. She hasn't really gotten booked in the way that I would like her to be booked as a villain, because I want her to get one over on someone and get a win and whatnot. And this is a way for her to do that. Now, I do think with Charlotte and Becky, the Thumb and Louise connection, I do think that's going to break up their words in a fantastic fashion. The T Squad is going to get busted up at some point because WWE loves doing that now. They just love breaking our hearts because that's just how they roll. They did it with DIY. I mean, it's kind of their thing. But I did my criticism of this match. I thought that it had some decent action. Fatal 5-Way, they want to do a lot. It was very busy. The issue I took was there wasn't a lot of story being told other than kind of Tamina was breaking up pins for Lana.
Right.
Like she's kind of protecting her, but we don't really know quite why just yet. And, it had some good action. Again, I'm okay with Natty. I don't quite know why they held off on having a Naomi match. I think that's kind of harming her in the fans' eyes a little bit. But I'm excited for Natty and Naomi. I think that's going to deliver. Like, people have criticisms of Naomi as a wrestler. I think Natty is the perfect choice to kind of alleviate some of that. The United States Championship match. I want to hit on this. This is very... this is almost like the JFK assassination of this card, if you will. It's like, what was this supposed to happen? Who was responsible? Was it one guy's doing? Was it several guys? Did they decide on, So real quick, Kevin Owens defeated AJ Styles via pinfall, and the finish and the payoff it seemed very rushed, but it didn't make much sense. What was your take on this match and this finish?
So fucking anticlimactic. It was a weird finish. It was not the way I would have gone. I like and the match itself was pretty fun. I felt like they had good energy, and then it just kind of went and it went to shit from there. So I'm fine with the change, but
I would have been perfectly okay with Kevin Owens winning the title back. I mean, I get it. Especially, they are good together. They put on good matches together.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about hot-shotting, hot potatoing the belt, but I understood. But the fact that it was a bizarre finish, because, all four shoulders were down, it was just really weird. And it really did kind of put the final nail in the coffin for us watching the pay-per-view, because at that point, everything we were watching was like, so how are they going to screw this one up? How are they going to screw this one up?
Yeah. Let's tie that into Smackdown, which was last night. Now, when I saw this finish, I thought, okay, so the ref bump basically gave them creative, can now go with that and say that the ref was concussed and he didn't call it right. So they're going to do a rematch at SummerSlam or on TV, and that's how they get out of this. Instead, they did the thing that I think we all enjoyed, and they brought back Chris Jericho.
Yeah,
to invoke
that coming.
It was perfect because no one saw it coming.
Yeah.
To invoke his rematch clause, and for AJ Styles to invoke his rematch clause in a triple threat in the main event of SmackDown for the United States Championship, and everything's fixed. The pay-per-view still was what it was, but this made me completely okay, I like that. And, of course, they ended up, Jericho took the pin. I don't think he's back, so to speak. I think this was kind of a one-off type thing, but that was a way for Kevin Owens to drop the belt without getting pinned, without getting submitted. AJ's the champ again. I think they smoothed this over very well. What do you think?
I'd agree.
Yeah, well, we're going to get another one. We're going to get AJ KO again at SummerSlam. And you know what? That's a pretty good stage for them to be able to cut loose on and put on a match of the night, which they are both very capable of doing together.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that the finish to that Battleground match kind of put a damper on what I thought was a good match. I think Kevin Owens and AJ Styles are two of the best on the roster in terms of the work they can do. And love the way they fixed this. They basically atoned for their sins at Battleground. And then I'm looking forward to SummerSlam. The flag match between Cena and Rusev. Not going to go into crazy detail on it. Cena ended up getting the win. Well, we all knew it was coming when they brought the American flag into it. But there's some heat with some fans saying that they don't like the American flag being on the floor as it was in the match. That what they could have done was have it be kind of the old school way where the first wrestler or superstar to grab the flag from wherever it was placed wins. And then they can just wave the flag, USA, USA, and then we go home. What are your thoughts?
They missed a huge opportunity to build nuclear heel heat with Rusev. All Rusev had to do was pick up that American flag and beat Cena with it.
Mm-hmm.
Hit him with it. It was a no DQ match, and we got our first no DQ spot towards the end when Rusev finally picked up the flag holder off the pedestal and hit him with it. Very gingerly, I might add, but still hit him with it.
Oh, was it this? I thought it was the stairs, but I think you're right. It was like the
there was like a flag. There was a flag stand on the stairs. Rusev picked it up and hit him square in the back with it, very softly. But that was like the first real no DQ spot of that match.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they missed an opportunity if they wanted to build Rusev to be a super heel, which they want to do. They want to make super heel foreigners, and that's fine. But, I mean, they didn't pull the trigger on really building the heat.
No, they didn't. What they did do was they put Rusev through the table. That was the no DQ spot that you were referring to, as well as the flag platform. The one thing they did do that sort of pissed me off was they deliberately booked Rusev to tap to an STF. I remember it was an STFU. When this is not a match where you can tap out.
Yep.
So they booked him to do this to make him look weak or to punish him for cutting his hair or whatever bullshit. And it's like, come on, man. You're going to have him do that in the middle of the ring. He's supposed to be a destroyer. He's supposed to crush and machka, and we love that. And they're taking it away from the fans by saying, like, oh, he's going to tap in the fucking ring to an STF. That pissed me off. That was one thing I was like, that is not cool. What are they doing? Like, what are they trying to do with Rusev here? Are they still punishing him for what he did with his hair, or what do you think?
I don't know. I don't think they know what the hell they're doing with Rusev at all because, like, I'm sorry, this whole match was like, are we back in 1987? This is stupid. Like, it was like the physical equivalent of vomiting in my own mouth. I'm over it. It's fucking stupid. It's dumb. They need to book him better. They need to book him strong. The tapping bit pissed me off too. We commented on it when we were watching. I'm like, that's garbage. There was no reason for that.
Oh, I can tell you, the moment Rusev lost everything, and that was when, surprisingly enough, when Cena beat Rusev for the U.S. title, way back when, Rusev hasn't been the same since.
Nope.
He was an undefeatable monster, and Lana was the only person who could control that monster.
Yep.
Post that match, all of a sudden there was the whole Ziggler love angle that ruined it with Summer Rae, and that just got destroyed. That destroyed Rusev. Then there was the League of Nations, which was a complete disaster.
Oh, the League of Nations should have been so awesome too.
It could have been fantastic, and it was a joke.
Yeah.
I was so excited because I love stables. I love large stables. I miss that about the late 80s, early 90s. There were all these stables in wrestling. Now we don't get that.
Yeah. The I don't know what they're doing. Well, Lana's the same way. They've set her up to fail completely.
Oh,
they haven't. Yeah, and I was speaking with a couple of Mark's Wrestling podcasts, and they made it a point to say the first match that Lana had with Naomi was probably her best. And then each one after that they've kind of exposed her just by booking her in these matches. And they're not putting her in a position to get over or to get like good like heat, as they say, with the fans. They're not really doing her any favors either. Do you think both of them are in trouble with the company?
I think Lana is exactly what McMahon loves for his women's wrestler.
And exactly
Tall,
what most
leggy,
women don't
blonde
love.
Woman.
Yeah.
She's a tall, leggy, blonde woman.
Mm-hmm.
She needed to be in NXT.
Yeah, that's kind of been our running rhetoric, is they should have sent her back to NXT and let her learn from the women there. Because seriously, she could have had some really great matches with like Peyton and Billy. Like, let her learn from Asuka. Let her, put Emma back there for a while too. Like, Emma's a great worker and she's getting buried like mad.
Ooh, we'll get to that shortly, but continue.
Yeah. She could learn a lot in NXT, and I don't think she's in the right place.
I think it was this past week. There was a really good NXT match. It was Ember Moon, Mbae Moon, as I call her, and Ruby Riott. And that was an awesome match.
So good.
Awesome.
Love match. Ruby Riott. Love her.
The Sammy beat Mike Kanellis. This was a really, really good in-ring match, but this feud...
Bizarre ending again. Why is Mike Kanellis losing his second match?
I don't know. Mike Kanellis is good. He's good. He's a good worker.
He's great. But we really thought this was the ringer because, Sami Zayn equals losing. So, not that I want that, but... That's all he's doing is lose. So we went into it and we're like, all right, this is like our go get nachos match. And out of nowhere, boom. I mean, love it. But from a storytelling perspective, it made zero sense.
Yeah, they got one over on him on TV, and then he was able to win on the pay-per-view. And I think that's kind of a theme with him, is when there's nothing at stake or nothing on the line, he's really good. He beat Baron Corbin on a pay-per-view. He gets these wins, but he doesn't really have much attached to it just yet. I'm not sure what they're going to do with him. A lot of people are saying, well, eventually they're going to have Kevin Owens back with him, and they'll be a tag. It's that could work. I mean, that's an old trope that we can all go back to, but I just don't know.
Personally, I'd love to see him put the mask back on.
Do you think Vince would go for that?
No. No way.
Not at all. But
you can't do that anyway. No, you can't do that anyway. El Generico is dead, remember?
That's right.
Yeah, I know. He died down in Mexico. But,
Orphanage.
I think Zayn is one of the best workers on the roster, both with just his technical ability. He's great. He's really good on the mic. Mm-hmm. And I think he sells better than most wrestlers, too.
Oh, God.
We had an interview, and we were talking to a wrestling writer, and he mentioned that the reason that Sammy sells so well is because he had to wrestle for so long without a mask, so he couldn't emote. So this is what led him to do that. But I don't know where they're going with him. But I'm a big Sami Zayn guy, and I just hope they don't just make him kind of look like this pathetic asshole forever, because he's super good.
I just got to say, and you can relate to this, he's the new Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
Oh, ouch. Oh, so he's going to be a heavyweight champion, is what you're saying?
Yeah, and then he's going to just continue to put over other talent and be the jobber to the stars.
He's like the gatekeeper.
Yeah.
That was the joke on Ziggler. He's the gatekeeper, because if you come to the main roster, you have to go through Ziggler to then get on to the next part of the card. But speaking of foreign heel assholes, we then had the Punjabi prison match, a.k.a. Punani prison match, between Jinder Mahal and Randy Orton, as he says. Now, Randy Orton faced Jinder, and there was a little bit of shenaniganery involved with this, but there's no DQ. Before I eviscerate this match, please give me your thoughts.
I'm happy I was at home, because I'd have been pissed if I was in that arena trying to see through all those bars.
Yeah.
Off.
I don't have anything nice to say. I thought this whole match was hot garbage.
Yeah.
Just remember, though, this is the Punjabi prison where there are no rules except for this really long list of rules of how the match works.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't. The gate opens for 60 seconds, and then once it does that, then they can't do it again. But actually, what you could just do is climb the goddamn fucking prison, which you could have done that to begin with. They could have done that from Jump Street. He could have just beat him down in the corner, rolled out of the ring, and climbed the thing, and then you win, and you're the champion again, and then you do this and pose like you always do. That's all. That could have been the whole match. But instead of doing that, what we got was it was about 35 minutes, I would say. It went way too long.
Yeah.
There were delete chants going on. I mean, it was a mess. They did this in Philadelphia, a crowd where we know what's going to happen. We know what they did to Roman Reigns, and I can't believe they did this at this time, and they brought back the Great Khali for the payoff.
Why?
Without Great Khali's music, by the way. They didn't have
with Jinder's music. What was that?
They didn't have the glittery music, but they had Jinder's music. So they wouldn't even get the sort of crowd reaction that they would have gotten maybe with Khali. And then now Orton's just written off, and I got no problem with that, but I don't know. I don't know what the deal was, why they chose this, what their plans are with Khali, why they had this match. I hope this match buries the Punjabi Prison forever. I hope we never see it again.
Yeah.
No, we'll see it again in 10 years.
You're right.
No,
You're right.
There was one thing they could have done to save that match. And I really thought they were going to do it. I really did. Because that Baron Corbin Nakamura match was so early in the card, I really expected Orton to win.
Yeah.
Them to raise the prison, him to pose on the corner, and to him get blindsided and lose the belt right then and there.
Yeah, and I was looking on the feed online, and a lot of people were saying, "Oh, we need Baron to come in and save this thing." Nope, never got it.
Well, I take that back. Had we heard Cult of Personality as opposed to that, might have saved that match for that crowd.
Can we also talk about the fact that Randy looked like a complete pussy because he's afraid to take a fucking bump? Come on. He was dangling from that cage, and we're like, do it, fall, take the shot, you asshole. And no, he's like, I'm going to, like, scoop my way down and fall, like, maybe 2 feet. I'm like, nope, you're a pussy. I'm done with you. I'm just done.
Yeah, so I know what you're referring to. He was Khali was shaking the cage, and he kind of, instead of falling, he kind of swung over the top of it and then fell. Yeah, I agree. But he has no issue putting the Singh brothers through multiple tables, like it's EC, F, and W.
Yeah.
Every time they're on, like anytime they're involved, they get put through tables, and that's just their MO. They're just punching bags for Randall Keith.
I don't know if you noticed, but when Khali was choking Randy Orton, you could actually tell that Randy actually could have fit through the cage to get out of it.
Yeah.
That's another thing they did, too. Samir, I believe it's his name. He can fit through the prison, Maggle. That's what they're doing. Like, he's small enough to get through there, so there's no use. So he could have just done that from the get-go and ran through the thing. Right. It was a mess. And I don't know what they're going to do with that. But enough of that shit. Let's talk about some good shit. Because a couple nights ago, there was a Monday Night Raw that I thought was an above-average show. And it started out with Kurt Angle coming out. You suck, getting reined in on him. Of course, he doesn't suck. The Jason Jordan angle with Angle was a few weeks ago, and kind of a mixed reaction, but we're going to give it a chance. And he's talking about SummerSlam. And we have this number 1 contenders match that was between Roman Reigns and Samoa Joe. And it didn't quite go as they planned. Braun Strowman got kind of involved with that and laid waste to the both of them. So, it turns out that at SummerSlam we're going to get, for the Universal Championship, a fatal four-way between Samoa Joe, Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman, and Brock Lesnar.
Your boy, Brock Lesnar.
My boy, Brock Lesnar. So then, they all cut a promo on each other, and it goes really well. They all kind of one-up each other, but nobody looks bad. And then it's a big beatdown, and the locker room has to come out. I'm okay with that. This opening segment, I thought, probably was better than all of the previous night's pay-per-view. Wouldn't you say?
Well, to be fair, just about anything on that show was better than the previous night's pay-per-view.
Sure.
But no. No, that it was definitely pretty good. And honestly, I think that's going to be a hell of a four-way match.
Yeah. A lot of meat in the ring.
Well, we're going to see a title change.
You think so?
Yeah, it's the safest way to take the belt off of Brock without him eating a pin.
You're right.
And I don't think we're going to see Brock eat a pin for a long time after he ate that 90-second one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, to Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was something. That honeymoon ended so quick on Goldberg. And it was not his fault.
No.
No,
not his fault in the least. But, my God, that ended it complete 180. It's like a light switch turned one day. Shannon, what'd you think?
I thought it was really strong. Honestly, as much as I am not a Brock Lesnar person, I know, give me the thumbs down. You love me. Anytime he and Joe are in the ring together, I think it's just lit as hell. It's so good. Mm-hmm. They're both such loose cannons. I'm kind of down with Roman's current character. I'm not a big Roman person, but I'm not against him at the moment. He's okay. I think he's getting a little bit better. I think they're letting him walk that gray line. It's doing a little better for him. I don't know. I think this setup could be really damn good. But yeah, anytime Joe and Lesnar are in there, I'm all in. Let's see what happens. It's good. It's always going to be good.
Yeah, and if the title does change, and I don't necessarily want that, I think that I would prefer just to see Braun Strowman be the goddamn Universal Champion already.
Oh my God, yes.
It's the summer. It's like Seinfeld, the summer of George. This is the summer of Braun.
Yeah.
It has to happen. We have to see
so
him
great.
Screaming with the Universal Championship.
I want his side plates to just say Braun.
Yeah. Right, and then once he's champ, then we can start getting the I'm not finished with you merchandise and and then we can all drain our checkbooks, which is what I want. Let's move on to a no DQ match between Finn Balor and Elias Samson. So last week, Finn Balor won via disqualification after he ate a guitar shot, like the Honky Tonk Man, like Jeff Jarrett. Choke on that, slap nuts. And Finn Balor actually got cut up a little bit on the back of his head.
That was not a gimmick to guitar.
No.
That's what I had thought. I'm like, wait a minute. The guitar broke, but did it break? So we had a no DQ match. What do you think about this feud between Balor and the former Drifter, Elias Samson?
Sucks.
Please let it be over.
For this. Yeah.
It sucks?
He's too good for this.
Explain.
I'm really glad. Finn Balor is one of the strongest workers in the business, in the world right now. The fact that he's in this ridiculous back and forth BS with Elias fucking Samson, come on. I'm cool with the Drifter when they use him as the way that he came in, where he was just drifting in and out of people's promos and being, quirky. Finn does not belong in the mid card. He does not belong in the mid-card slot. I'm excited that they're going to be putting him in a good run with Bray. I think that could be fantastic. But this whole current thing, it sucks. Sucks.
They hit gold with Elias just before they called him up when they did the loser leaves NXT match, and then the next week he came back as El Vagabundo.
That was so good.
Oh, gosh. Let me pose this question. Let me be perfectly clear. I don't like Balor. I know that he's really good worker. I respect the skills. I'm not a fan. Would it make sense to have him in that Universal Championship conversation at the moment, given that we have Samoa Joe, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, and Braun Strowman? Would it make sense to have him there?
No, not yet.
Okay.
What would have made sense is after this, if Braun wins it, let him start a program with Braun.
Okay.
He could even started a program with Joe. He and Joe work great together.
Oh, yeah,
Sure.
they do.
Sure.
And then let Roman take it off of Finn. Fine. I would actually be okay with Roman beating Finn because Finn beat Roman on his first night there.
Right. As punishment for Roman failing that drug test.
It's a great revenge story saying, look, you beat me the first time. Boom.
Yeah. I'm with that.
I would be great with. But there are too many main eventers on Raw right now.
Yeah.
Right, so why not build the mid-card or the undercard with a guy like Finn Balor who's super over and sells a bunch of merchandise, and he can build up this Elias Sampson guy who kind of looks like Randy Savage. I don't have an issue with that. He's not getting buried. He's still on TV. I guess we got to agree to disagree because I actually like this feud.
No, but here's the thing, though. He's not building the mid-card. If he was building the mid-card, he'd be feuding with The Miz.
Yeah, I get a point. We said it on the show for the last couple weeks. We were saying I wouldn't mind seeing Balor come out in the black leather jacket with the white Intercontinental Championship belt. I'm
okay with that, too.
That'd be good, too.
Yeah.
I am perfectly... Yeah. You know what, though? I'd actually like to see him team up again with the club.
Yep. But to do that, then Vince would have to play his wild card of the Shield going against the club and Finn Balor. Because Balor would have to go heel or something, and then we'd have the club and Finn Balor against the Shield, which would be fucking sweet.
But on Raw, on Monday, the club started turning face.
Right. Let's talk about that. So the Revival, Forever the Revival, had a match with...
That's not
Gallows
what the F means.
With Gallows and Anderson. On this show it does. So, the Raw tag team... So we talk about the Smackdown tag team like they don't really have that many teams. Raw is the complete opposite. It's like stacked with teams. You have the Hardys, probably one of the best tag teams of all time. You have Sheamus and Cesaro, who look really good, and they're two-time champs. Then you got the Revival, who are super over, like an old school kind of like this old school team that is super good, and they're
best
great
tag
at
team
getting
in the WWE right now. They are the best tag team in the WWE.
Sure. And then you got Gallows and Anderson, who basically have been all over the world winning. I think Raw has a good problem right now in that they're so stacked in this tag team division. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, but they only have 4. They only have 4 tag teams. That's not a division.
Okay. Well, on a 3-hour-long show we get maybe one match a week. What's wrong with that?
Okay, so Sheamus and Cesaro. Well, we're gonna lose the Hardys.
Right.
Just tell you now, they're gonna break off Jeff Hardy to go on a solo run.
Oh.
Then we're gonna be down to 3.
Okay. I didn't
face
like
right
Hardy.
now says it all.
Jeff Hardy as WWE world heavyweight champion, or was it world champion? WWE champion. I thought that was the shits. It wasn't his fault. I just thought it was the shits when he was champ. So I don't know. I think he's over enough to make it work right now, but I like Sheamus and Cesaro as champs. The Hardys, if they don't get broken yet, Jeff Hardy is a singles competitor. I'll give it a shot. I'm not going to be that fan that says, well, this sucks. I hate it immediately when I haven't seen the booking yet. But do you see the Revival, or do you see the club as being the ones to take the belts off of the Bar?
Well, heel versus heel, no. You know who's going to take it off the Bar? I'm going to tell you right now who's going to take it off the Bar. It's going to be Ambrose and Rollins.
You think so?
And then the Revival take it from them.
Perfect. Because we saw the Miztourage, perfectly leading into this, the Miztourage. I don't like that, but I do like Curtis Axel. And I do like Bo Dallas.
I love Bo Dallas.
We love Bo.
He's great. When he was NXT champ, fantastic. And on the former show, Talking Smack, Miz had a really good point when he said, these are two guys who have bloodlines in wrestling. They're very underutilized. They're both former champions. He talked about how Curtis Axel was Intercontinental champ. He talked about Bo Dallas was NXT champ. He's like, they deserve more. So what do? They lose in a handicap match to Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, of course. Now, I don't have an issue with that. And do you think that it's Vince's prerogative to kind of dangle this carrot in front of the fans at all times? Like, hey, you know that broken gimmick that you like so much? Well, you ain't getting it. Well, hey, remember that Shield stable that you love so much? Well, you're not getting it either, fucko. Do you think that this is just more of him kind of pulling that? Because at the end of this match, Rollins went to extend his fist to Dean, and Dean rolled out of the ring. What's going on?
Well, I think they're slow playing it on purpose.
Yeah.
Because I think they're keeping that option open if they decide come SummerSlam that they're not going to put the title on Reigns. I think that becomes an option then to try and... It's their last-ditch effort to try and get Reigns over with the crowd.
Okay.
I think that is their insurance policy saying, well, if we can't get Reigns over as champion, well, we'll get the Shield back together, and then everybody will love Reigns again. But
I've always loved Reigns.
I think the backup plan for that, though, and going back to that tag match, is that if they decide not to go the Shield reunion route, this is the Ambrose turn route.
When you say that
turns on Rollins,
and
that's when they lose the belts.
Sure.
I was going to say, when you say that you love Reigns, do you feel the rage of 8 million smarks like a disturbance in the Force?
Right, and because I was that smart, I was that guy. I was like, fuck this guy. He's the shits. I'm so tired of him. Like, he's an okay wrestler, but God, I hate him, and I hate his fans. And finally, it was when he faced Taker at WrestleMania, and the fact that he could shoulder that burden against The Undertaker, that's what turned me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's fair, because he carried that match.
Yeah. Reigns carried that match, and then that Monday after, we finally got the finish. We finally saw his character start to emerge the way it needed to be done. He doesn't have to be turbo heel. He has to be the I don't give a fuck heel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing is, Braun, with him and Reigns having this rivalry, Braun's a super over babyface right now.
Yeah,
and Reigns is the boo. Like, before it was booing, now it's like violent booing.
Yeah.
Which is, then Vince is backstage. It's like, oh, it's great. Goddamn, it's going great, you know? So.
Well, a reaction is still a reaction, good, bad, or indifferent. Like, if the crowds are making fucking noise, Vince is going to go, I love it, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I want to talk about Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy. I'm going to call him Colin Cassidy. Now, Enzo has basically been getting beat up on TV. There's been talk about him kind of getting in trouble in the locker room, and at one point I think they said Reigns threw him off the tour bus. Apparently the tour bus is also Reigns' yard. Then he says, "This is my yard." And by most people's accounts and outside the company, Reigns is a very nice guy. He's not a dick. What's been going on with Enzo and Cass? Enzo cannot not get the shit kicked out of him, but then it's set up a Big Show and Colin Cassidy. What's going on with this angle?
Big Show is perfect to get Colin over as a heel. This is a perfect role for Big Show. Put over new talent.
Right.
Enzo, the only way Enzo should win is one of my least favorite ways of a match ending, and that's the shitty schoolboy roll-up surprise win. I hate those, but that's the only way Enzo should ever beat Cass.
Sure.
And honestly, I'm okay with Enzo getting his ass kicked because that's honestly the story that should be told. And that's the story that was being told their entire tag team career was Enzo was a mouth, Enzo talked a big game,
and Cass was the muscle.
Backed it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So I'm okay with Enzo getting his butt kicked. I think they need to, once the story's over, though, they need to let Enzo really start to win some matches. And honestly, and I hate saying this because a lot of people hate it, I would be okay with him spending some time on 205 Live.
Yep. Yeah, you're right.
I think he would excel there. Oh my God, could you imagine him and Kendrick going back and forth?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, and I understand the reservations. Yeah, I understand the reservations that you and myself and pretty much most all the fan base have about Enzo being on 205 Live, but it's not the worst thing in the world to maybe go to a different quote-unquote brand, start getting some momentum back, and what else is he doing? He's just getting the shit kicked out of him on TV. I don't have an issue with that. The only thing is, if they do that, they're going to have him at the Smackdown bookings to do so. But it's rumored that we're also going to get another superstar shakeup, I believe, sometime in September too. So. Yeah,
I heard that too. So I think it's a very fair probability that that'll happen sooner than later.
Is this an excuse or a way for them to maybe call up a certain NXT Women's Champion?
Yeah. Well, no, I think we're going to see her at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
I think she loses at TakeOver Brooklyn 3, and I think she shows up at SummerSlam and probably beats the living hell out of Bayley.
Oh, man.
After Bayley wins the title at SummerSlam.
Yeah, let's go into that. So, you had a match between Sasha Banks and Bayley, go figure, and this was for the number one contendership to face Alexa Bliss at SummerSlam. Now, I thought this was very good. It ended up, Bayley got the win. It was kind of a pinfall and then a reversal and then a 3 count type win, which, all right, whatever. I'm not going to shit on the finish, but Sasha took the L. It's Bayley, Alexa. In the first pay-per-view match since we saw that horrendous kendo stick on a string on a pole in a ring in an arena match.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
I'm okay with them. Bayley is the ultra babyface. She is the John Cena of the women's division. They need to start booking her like that.
The doctor of Hugonomics.
Yes, the doctor of hugonomics. Hey, she didn't choose the hug life.
The hug life chose her.
Sure.
But see, well, here's the thing, though, and I know everybody wants Sasha to turn heel on Bayley. And I get that, and I agree that should be when it happens.
Yeah.
There's a reason why they're keeping her face, and there's a reason why why Charlotte's face now. And I kind of agree with this thought process. Survivor Series will get the 4 horsewomen against the MMA 4 horsewomen.
4 horsewomen, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
sure.
Rousey, I could see Rousey at the Survivor Series, do a match with the two women from the Mae Young Classic who were former MMA fighters.
Yep.
And part of the MMA 4 horsewomen. It's built. Survivor Series is built for this kind of match.
Sure. Yeah, and Ronda is such a mark. We saw that at WrestleMania.
Yes,
she would do it in a heartbeat. She'd instantly book a flight to do that. So,
and her name, and she still has the name power to draw.
And she can call herself Rowdy Ronda Rousey still, right? Because she got approval from Piper to do that originally.
She did.
Bingo.
So let Survivor Series happen, then let Sasha turn heel on Bayley.
Yeah, this is one of those situations, and I've been critical of the whole turn them heel. That'll get everybody invested again. I've been critical of that. This is one of those cases where that would be something. And isn't it funny how we're such gluttons for punishment with this? Like, have that great best friendship, just break that up and have her beat the shit out of her. Like that.
But we know it's a proven relationship thing. Like, we've seen what happens when the two of them are at each other's throats, and they had 2 of the best matches of their careers. Like amazing, amazing performances. So it's like, we know it prints money. Like, just do it. It's fine. We're all in.
I assume one of them you're referring to is that Iron Woman match back in NXT.
My God, it was so good. I have watched that match probably about 15 times.
Yeah.
So good.
Let's talk about some other women in the Raw women's division. Let's talk about Mickie James and Dana Brooke. I want to point out that they're 2 booked as babyfaces wrestlers, and we haven't seen them. I think Bayley and Sasha are kind of the only quote-unquote babies, but they're in a feud kind of right now. Where do you think they're going with Mickie James and Dana Brooke, if anywhere?
About the same place they're putting Emma, and that's not on TV. And that's a shame. Dana Brooke, they should never have turned her babyface. She is a great heel, but they had a quota to fill for baby faces to heel, so they had to make somebody a face. So, let's make Dana Brooke a face. Sure.
When they brought back Emma with her sunglasses, quote-unquote bitch character gimmick, I was like, perfect. This is great for both of them. They're going to have Dana align with Emma again. Everything's going to be like it was in NXT. Eventually they can break up. One of them can go the other direction. They didn't do that. Instead, they made Dana kind of the baby, and then Emma's the villain. But then I'm not sure. And Mickie James they signed her to basically put over Alexa Bliss, I would assume. But Mickie James is one of the all-time greats. Why aren't they at least like having her in on some TV matches? She can work with the best of them, right?
I agree. No, I actually honestly really thought she was going to actually get the title on Smackdown. I really did. I thought they were going to put the title on her. Let her, she could have built really good heel heat on SmackDown.
Yeah.
I don't see her much as a face, but that's okay. You know what? I like Mickie James a lot, though. I really do. I think she's a great wrestler, and I think she gets shit on by a lot of the, internet wrestling community. And, Yeah, it is. It's absolute bullshit, and I wish she would get a little bit more TV time. I really do.
Yeah. I'm just happy I got to see her back at Smackdown in February when she took on, oh, God, Alexa Bliss, actually, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was best 2 out of 3 falls match. I was there, too.
Yeah.
I was there as well.
Nice. The other women's match we saw, now I want to flash back to a week ago. Emma seemed to be tweeting her displeasure about this was her 5-year anniversary with being signed to the WWE. She said she was watching other women get chances that she wasn't being given. Now, that was last week. So, a couple nights ago, you had a backstage angle with Angle and Emma. And Emma kind of told Kurt Angle, like, what do I have to do to get a shot here? Oh, I know. Maybe I can start dating your son, Jason Jordan. Pretty good line. Kurt says, okay, I'll give you a shot. I'll have you go up against Nia Jax. So Nia Jax and Emma, Nia totally squashes Emma. Nia looks really good, by the way. This is probably one of her best short matches, so to speak. Nia did with the front, what was it, a front flip senton? Is that what you call that? Does a finisher? Loved it. Was this punishment for Emma for tweeting her displeasure last week?
Yes.
Common theory is yes, and I've seen a couple of insider accounts that I follow too have said the same thing. One of them was like, that's what we call WWE discipline in action. So I think it's pretty safe to say, yeah, that was the slap on the hand. Because yeah, she got destroyed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Emma, a lot of people are, from what I've seen online, like people are kind of fed up. Because Emma has had her issues with her injuries. Tapped Out Nation knows I have a thing for Emma. A soft spot for her. She's really good. She is kind of fragile. But also, can we point out the horrendous, shitty, awful gimmick with Emelina?
Ugh.
That did nothing for her. It basically... We just got, our dicks teased for, 12 weeks? 12 weeks?
I think it was
14
longer
weeks?
than that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we had this reveal, and then she just left for another, 6 weeks. And then bring her back. But then, I don't know.
I have a problem with any female talent that they, and this is purely just my opinion, but I have a problem with any time that they refuse to put their female talent in the goddamn ring and let them do their work, but they'll do nothing but cheesecake fucking photo shoots. I'm sorry, this is not the Attitude Era. And if they're going to do that shit, where's my beefcake photos, goddammit? I'm just saying.
Oh.
It's a shitty double standard. No, it's a shitty sexist double standard, and I fucking hate it. There we go. Babe, Go ahead and talk, because otherwise I'm going to be a salty bitch for 10 minutes.
Well, I don't disagree with you at all. And now, don't get me wrong. I am very attracted to Emma.
So am I. Get in line.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I will happily take sloppy seconds. But
marriage.
Emma is my third favorite woman on the main roster.
Okay.
And she has just gotten completely crapped on from the get-go, with them putting her with Santino from the start.
Mm-hmm.
They sent her back to NXT. She built that heel bitch persona, which I loved. And you know what? It was a freak accident, her breaking her back.
Yeah.
But really? They can do nothing. Well, that's the problem with Raw. They can't run 2 concurrent storylines to save their life on Raw. Yet SmackDown can run 2 concurrent storylines entirely.
Yep.
Yeah. We talked about that last week, about how it's very apparent that they're almost afraid to run 2 different women's angles at one time. It's like, ooh, I don't know. Let's just throw them all into let's have a fatal 4-way or fatal 5-way. and then this will be for the number one contendership. We'll do that a few weeks in a row.
Yeah.
But why not write storylines?
Cruiserweights.
Yeah, why not write storylines to get people drawn in, emotionally invested? You know, I mean, look at all the few matches we've seen over the years. Like Andre and Hulk is a perfect example. Two of probably the greatest names in the business ever. Were either of them, 6-star match guys?
Nope.
Not in the least.
No.
But everyone was emotionally invested in them. Ultimate Warrior, was he a 6-star match guy?
No.
He was super over.
He wasn't even a 2-star match guy, but he was super over.
Exactly. Junkyard Dog, God bless him. Was he a 6-star? I could go on and on, but the point is, good wrestling is all over the place. It's on the Fight app. It's on the WWE Network.
Right.
Wherever you look, you can watch guys doing moonsaults, women doing moonsaults, whatever it is. You can watch great matches. What hooks people in, especially on a TV show, is writing good storylines. And I felt like they're afraid to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, well, see, and I actually brought this up today, on my Twitter. The fact that how can you run a coherent, consistent story when the last say on wins and losses changes his mind just before they go out to the ring?
All the time. Not just like once in a while, but like all the time.
You have Triple H be in charge of creative.
I'd say, yeah.
Vince retire. I'd have Vince retire from
Vince is never going to retire.
creative.
He's fucking Caligula. He's going to live forever.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I don't, Vince McMahon, I'm not going to shit on the man because he's entertained me for decades. And I don't think you're doing that now. But there comes a time when you look at a brand like NXT and you're like, wait a minute, they're having all these new, well, quote unquote new superstars come in and get over and win championships, and then everyone loves them, and then they move on to this Raw or this SmackDown roster and they kind of get lost or misused or booked poorly, or they have a shitty angle that kind of buries them and no one wants anything to do with them anymore. So at some point, it's got to be like, this is the disconnect that's happening for whatever reason, and I can fix it this way.
Yeah. Trips needs the keys to the castle. That, like, at the end of the day, that's what has to ultimately happen. I think until that happens with creative, nothing is going to ultimately change. And I think that NXT is a proven product. It shows that he knows what he's doing. His team knows what he's doing. The people that have worked in creative on NXT that were working on SmackDown for a while started producing some of the best SmackDown segments we've seen in years. Like, it's proven, and I don't know how Vince doesn't see that it's just straight money. Like, I don't know. I don't get it.
No. Well, I want to end this on a positive note because I feel like we've shit on the product a lot tonight, which is fine. I'm all for doing that. But I always want to find the silver lining. I always want to find the positive. So I want each of you to give me a positive takeaway that you're looking forward to, whether it's SummerSlam, a good angle you're looking forward to, a matchup, whatever it may be. What's the biggest positive takeaway that you have after the past several nights?
You go first. I'm going to need to think about this for a second.
God damn it. You're going to do that to me, too. I'm like, God, I fucking hate you. I absolutely love Bray Wyatt. I'm a massive Wyatt fan. I think he's a super strong worker. He's super charismatic. I am really looking forward to this whole program with him and Finn. I love it. I think we're going to see some really strong work. We're going to see hopefully some really strong storylines. I'm geeked for that, and I'm really excited to see what happens with Naomi. I think the women's roster on SmackDown is stacked right now. It's good stuff. I'm always happy to see the women get more time and more limelight. and I'm excited that that's the route they're going. So, yeah, I'm excited for those. I think we're going to see some good things.
Right on.
I am excited. Actually,
Me too, man.
You know what? I am excited actually for what I ultimately think this Kurt Angle, Jason Jordan route is going to go.
Okay.
I really believe that this is actually all a scam by Jason Jordan.
Ooh.
I believe he and Corey orchestrated this, and it's a scam to try and raise Jason Jordan up the card by utilizing Daddy, who is the general manager of Raw, to get prime match opportunities. And I think that eventually something's going to happen, and he's going to turn on Angle.
So the Angle is going to... Okay. Yeah.
The angle is that he's scamming. He's not really his son. And that's the only way to get out of this. It really is the only way to get out of this story. Otherwise, Jason Jordan's going to be, oh yeah, he's Kurt Angle's illegitimate child for the rest of his career.
Sure.
There are worse things you could be than Kurt Angle's illegitimate child. Though.
That's true. The never-ending Angle story, right? Yeah, that's good. I like that. I like the Jason Jordan, Kurt Angle. I think that's a perfectly fine. Like I said last week,
they can slow play it. They can let this run for a year.
Oh yeah, and we all believed. I said this last week. We all believed when it was revealed that Kane and Undertaker are brothers. We all believed that immediately. So we can believe this too. So I'm with you.
They actually even kind of look alike.
Sure.
They do kind of look alike. So I could actually buy it.
I think you're reaching there, babe, but okay.
I could buy it. Hey, we got a friend who actually texted me and thought, is this real? Is he
oh my God,
yeah. Angle's
that
child?
happened. Yeah, that happened.
Are they a wrestling fan, or did they just...
Yes!
They're a casual wrestling fan. Like, this same guy, he's probably going to hear this, so, like, he'll probably make fun of me this weekend, but, like...
Perfect.
He texted me after the DIY breakup and was like, was that, like, a serious shoot? Like, does Ciampa actually have beef with Gargano? And I'm like, are you serious right now?
He moved out of his house, man.
I know. Oh, I'm dead inside.
Well, Queen Candice LeRae is the queen of kayfabe, too. Like... That's how I want my wife to be, you know?
I love
We all want our wives to be Candace. She's
exactly.
so fantastic.
Exactly. I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to pick two.
Okay.
Number one, Minnesota's own Arya Daivari not only beat up everyone last night, meaning Neville and Tozawa, but last night on 205 Live... he beat Neville in a non-championship match.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting a shot.
Yeah. And I think Arya is a great worker. I've interviewed several wrestlers on this program. Each of them has had nothing but good things to say. I'm very excited for him, and I want to see where it goes with him. And then it's got to be the Fatal 4-Way at SummerSlam. Mm-hmm. It's got to be Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, and Samoa Joe. I'm very excited. That main event is exactly what should be at SummerSlam.
And that match, I couldn't tell you who's going to win that match. I don't know who's going to win it. Any of those four could win that match.
Yeah. And we still have, a little under a month left until SummerSlam? Mm-hmm. So who's to say they don't have a match or something goes down on TV that they're adding a stipulation of the Fatal, something along those lines, like whatever it is. Who knows? I'm excited. I hope they don't mess with it too much, but...
Hell in a Cell.
Fatal 4-Way Hell in a Cell. Sure.
Fatal 4-Way Hell in a Cell.
Yeah. Married Marks, how do they get a hold of you? How do they reach your podcast online? And how do they listen to you?
All right, we are all over the place. You can find us on Twitter at Married Marks. You can find us online. Our website is www.marriedmarks.com. You can also find Richard and I individually on Twitter. I am at SmarkyBetch, BETCH. And Richard
is ONY Draz, DRAZZ.
And we are on Podbean, Stitcher, iTunes, Google, pretty much every aggregator out there at this point. So come check us out.
Right on.
Facebook at Married Marks. And yeah, that about covers everything.
Perfect. You can reach the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast Network at tappedoutwrestlingpodcast@gmail.com. Send us your emails for questions, comments, who you'd like to see us interview on the show, subjects you'd like us to cover. You can reach us on Twitter at TappedOutPod. That's at TappedOutPod. You can reach myself on Twitter, Nathan Legend, at Litzman316. It's like Hitman with an L. As always, legends never die. TappedOutWrestlingPodcast.com is where you can find us on the internet. So this is a link to all of our shows, all of our affiliates. Everything about us is on there. You can find links to our favorite app, which is the Fight app. So the Fight app is a free way to watch hundreds of hours of combat sports, grappling, MMA, pro wrestling. This is how I watch Ring of Honor every week for free. I watch it on my iPad, and I stream that to my Apple TV in my living room at the Legends Lair. TappedOutWrestlingPodcast.com is where you will find our Amazon affiliate link. So if you want to donate to the show and help us keep things running, a great way to do it, which doesn't cost you anything extra, is go to tappedoutwrestlingpodcast.com, click on the Amazon link, order everything that you would normally order, pens, groceries, pizzas, shoes, anything that you would normally order off Amazon. Don't get charged anything extra. What they do is they send us a little bit of commission for helping drive traffic to their site. Finally, the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast is online at ProWrestlingTees.com. Search the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast, and you can find a link to our official merch. Richard and Shannon with the Married Marks podcast, thanks so much for being on.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us. It was a blast.
Absolute blast.
Hope to see you back soon. And with that, it's time to tap out.